Hello. Today, we'll be learning about ADHD, or Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder. ADHD is commonly... Let's get a few things out of the way first. Number one, I'm not here to diagnose you. Number two, if you want to get diagnosed, see medical professional. And three, you have to have started showing symptoms before you were 12. Just, as like you should know. For kids under the age of 17, you have to meet 6 in the hyperactivity and impulsive and in the inattentive. So 12 out of the 18. And if you are above the age of 17, you have to have 10, 5, and 5. Also, another key component is that you have to have these symptoms consistently throughout 6 months. I feel confident to talk on this subject because I was diagnosed with ADHD when I was 8. I qualified for all 18 symptoms. I don't know if that's good or bad. It's good in the sense that it's like, yeah, I have ADHD. It's bad in the sense that it's like, yeah, I have ADHD. All right, let's get into the busy stuff. Attention deficit. This is the inattentive side. And then there's hyperactivity disorder, which is the hyperactive and impulsive side. Each side has 9 symptoms. 9 for inattentive and 9 for inattentive and hyper. And for the sake of this video, in case things change, I'm following the DSM-5 from the National Library of Medicine. And if you're interested in seeing this for yourself, I'll leave it linked in the description. Now, let's get into some of this stuff. So we're going to start with often does not seem to listen when spoken to directly. The mind seems elsewhere.
Yeah, my favorite player is Roger Federer. He's got a great forehand, great backhand. He moves around the court super well. Phenomenal serve. It's impossible to tell where he's going. I really would have liked to see him in person at some point. That was a bucket list of mine, so to say. But he retired last year, so I'm just really sad that I'm not going to get to that opportunity.
Often loses things necessary for tasks or activities. You can forget pencils, paper, your phone. You just forget things.
Hi.
Hey, that'll be $8.95.
Okay. I don't have my wallet.
Is often easily distracted by extraneous stimuli. Extraneous. With this, something just prompts them to start thinking differently. Usually in a conversation, somebody will mention a key word and they're off.
Sort of thing. But they have these rolly chairs in the office. So I was just, spinning around, getting up to shenanigans as you do in the office. It's good to get up.
The Office. I've never really seen The Office. I never got into it. I know people who have watched the entire seasons 3 or 4 times, multiple times, way too many times.
Is often forgetful of daily activities. This is the one that really sets people behind and is honestly a bit, this one's overlapped with procrastination. It's not necessarily that you forget it as a whole, you just forget it in the moment and it will come back to you later and freak you out.
My taxes!
Often has difficulty sustaining attention in tasks or play activities. This one sort of has overlap with the first one, with listening or when spoken to directly, but this one is in a large group. These are more of just, blanket words for an audience, and you're among that audience, and, it's not interesting. Often does not follow through on instructions, and fails to finish schoolwork, chores, or duties in the workplace.
Oh, hey, doing pretty good, doing good. Oh no, hey, but I'm still doing pretty. But I'm still doing. I'm still doing pretty good. Oh God. Oh.
Often avoids, dislikes, or is reluctant to engage in tasks that require sustained mental effort. This is when you have something that is just not in your comfort zone. For me, it's writing English papers.
It's too tough to catch up now.
Often fails to give close attention to details, or makes careless mistakes in schoolwork, at work, or during other activities. This could be very simple, where you miss a key word, where you didn't read it properly, simple mistakes. But if you make one or two a day, like, they add up. Often has difficulty organizing tasks and activities. I'll use this video as an example. I wanted to start making this video on Monday. It is now Tuesday. Well, Tuesday the next week. I was gonna start on Monday, and then and then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And then I thought it's gonna start on Monday, and then I didn't. So I started 8 days late. I had a whole plan set on the first Monday too. Like, I just didn't start. All right. So far so good. We're 9 in. This isn't boring. All right. Now let's move on to hyperactive and impulsive are lumped together because they deal with the physical aspect of ADHD. Often fidgets with or taps hands and feet or squirms in seat. Why did they write it like that?
In making this video, I have been sitting here and I've been tapping my feet. I've been moving my hands all over the place, like, whoa boy, whoa, heel boy. It's a foot joke.
Often runs about or climbs in situations where it is inappropriate. And this is where a lot of boys get diagnosed with ADHD more than girls, because boys are typically more rambunctious as kids. So they're more likely to get diagnosed, or at least identified.
It's a bit early in the morning.
Is often on the go, as if driven by a motor. Now, this one and the last one are kind of similar because they're both about being restless, but I would consider this one to be more of I have to go now. When you're at a restaurant and you're done eating, all right, well, it's time to go.
All right, you ready to go?
We haven't paid yet.
Often unable to play or take part in leisure activities quietly. I mean, you're in a leisure activity, you don't have to be louder, but it'd be so much more fun if you were.
Occupation 2.
Which?
Often leave seat in situations where being seated is expected. This one is just straightforward. If you're ever in a situation and your natural reaction is to just that's a symptom of ADHD. Often talks excessively. Now, I could tell you a lot about this symptom, but I'm not gonna. Often has trouble waiting his or her turn. Now, I know that this one means in a line. Like if you're at a grocery store and you're in a line of like 5 people, you just can't wait for the line to start moving. Like you're on the go or driven by a motor. Often interrupts or intrudes on others. This doesn't have to be just butting into conversations. This could also mean walking into someone's room without knocking. And most of the time, it's not necessarily intentional. You're just thinking, oh, I want to go into their room, so you just go into their room. Or, oh, this conversation doesn't apply to me, but I want to talk, I want to inject myself into the conversation.
Shenanigans, as you do in the office. It's good to get up.
The Office? I've never really seen The Office.
Often blurts out an answer before the question has been completed.
Which?
You know, it's like when it's a game show and they ask you a question, and there's specifics to that question that they are asking you, but you just want to get the answer out because you think you know. Because you think you know what the question is going to be, and then you're wrong. Oh, I'm such a klutz. I forgot my backpack. And therefore, I have ADHD. I better get an A. I better get an